Hi guys, Dale Malik here with WatchesToBuy. Thank you for joining me today. It's Sunday, October 7th, 2018. Boy, this year has just flown by, as they always do. But anyway, before we get started with today's video, just a quick website update. We're progressing very nicely. We're actually testing the site out right now. And you guys are just gonna love the website. Trust me when I tell you this. You're gonna have your own little marketplace, your own little seller's corner, as I would call it. But it's going to be a great place where you can actually market your watches and have your own marketplace and drive people to it. I'm telling you, it's going to be very cool. It's kind of like what I envisioned many years ago. But not only that, it's going to have other different options and features that we'll be talking about in the next couple of weeks. But anyway, today's video is going to be on the places that I utilize on the internet to find vintage watches. You may have heard of some of them, and we're not going to talk about eBay. We did that last week, which is a given. But these are different websites from different watch dealers across the whole world, as you will see. But anyway, without further ado, let's get started. Okay guys, the first website we're going to look at, and these websites, quite frankly, are websites that I pretty much visit on a daily basis, always looking for some cool vintage watches. So anyway, the first one is called Those Watch Guys. As you can see, they have these really nice big pictures on the homepage. Some beautiful vintage watches. They have an Omega right there, a Lamania right there. Boy, what do we have? JLC, that's a beautiful memo box right there. Or actually a Master Control. Wittenauer. But anyway, just a great website. The guy, they actually do a lot of advertising on Instagram. I see them frequently on Instagram, but they have some beautiful watches here. Let's just take a peek at what their details page looks like. We'll just pop into, let's pick that guy right there, the JLC. Beautiful looking watch. Nice big photos. You can zoom in really nicely. Check out all the lugs. Check out all the dials. Just a really nice explanation about the watches themselves. It has many different pictures down here. Gives you a nice wrist shot, which I like a lot. It really helps out when you buy a watch. The nice thing about it, if you did, maybe put his wrist size there so you can get a better idea. But just a great looking, see how you can zoom in there very nicely. Just a really nice website, well done, extremely well done website here. And they do some consignment too as well. So I'm sure if you want to list your watch, they will consign it and sell it for you. But this is one of the watch sites that I frequent pretty much on a daily basis. And you can actually sign up for their alerts. So when they get some new additions in, you can get a nice email. And it works out really well. But a really nice site, quality watches. If you do your reviews on these guys, or do your review on those watch guys, they have some excellent reviews out there. But just a really nice website. They have some beautiful vintage watches. So check out Those Watch Guys. Okay, another site that I really go to on pretty much on a regular basis is called Analog Shift. One of those sites I'm probably sure that you guys have heard of. They, like Those Watch Guys, they do quite a bit of advertising on Instagram for their watches. Really nice watches. They're not the cheapest things in the world out there, but they're pretty darn nice watches. This guy does a heck of a job. Very close to purchasing a watch once before from him, an old chronograph that I really love. But you can see they have some beautiful looking watches, some Rolexes, Submariner there, a couple of Oyster Perpetuals, got a Breitling Navy, got the Universal Genève, boy, Heuer. Boy, they got some beautiful looking watches. And once again, here's a beautiful Breitling 815 chrono. These watches are lovely. But pop up their details page. Once again, nice big pictures. You can zoom in nicely with them. Nice gallery. It's a beautiful looking watch. But these guys, they do a heck of a job. and you just got to make sure. I do believe sometimes they do have these watches serviced. They go through them pretty thoroughly, I mean, I would trust these guys, but like I said, do your due diligence. Whatever you do, just make sure that you post these watches on the various watch forums. You got a Breitling, like we talked about last week. Utilize the Breitling forum. It's a great place to do a lot of verification. There's that word, verification. I love that word, verification. We'll be talking about verification relatively soon. But anyway, use that forum for your Breitling watches. If you're looking for a beautiful vintage Omega watch, use the Omega forum too as well. Same thing if you're looking at a nice, beautiful Rolex, use the Rolex forums. The guys on these forums are very engaging, and they will help you out, and you can learn a lot from them as well. But anyway, Analog Shift is a great website to find some beautiful vintage watches. One thing that I did with these guys is I actually emailed the one, it was the owner that actually emailed me back, and I was interested in the watch, and I made him an offer, and he countered me. So even though, for example, this watch, this Omega Speedy, they want, well, inquire the price, but let's say, for example, they want $4,000 for the watch, or here, this Submariner, he wants $8,000. Hey, shoot the guy an email. What's the worst thing that can happen? He says no, he says no. You can't hurt for trying. But anyway, a really nice website that I always use on a regular basis, Analog Shift. Okay, the next website that I go to on a pretty much regular basis, maybe you guys haven't seen it, it's called Cool Vintage Watches. And they are pretty darn cool. They actually have some watch straps too as well. Some beautiful watch straps there. But the watches, they got some beautiful looking Omega watches, some beautiful vintage Omegas. Just really nice here. I love this one. Well, that's the ladies' Genève. But they got some beautiful watches, as you can see. Got a Speedmaster Pro right there. Maybe not the best website in the world compared to the first two we went through, but definitely adequate. Gives you some nice photos. Maybe not the best because you don't. I like to see the movement, but this one is sold out. See if we can find one that's not sold out here. But I would definitely request, if you're interested in any of their watches, I would request to see the movement. Why not? If the guy's interested in selling it to you, I think he will. But I like this website because you can get a lot of cool ideas, and he has some very cool categories here. Very cool, huh? There's that word again, but look at this one here, 60s Heuer Carrera. That is a beauty. But you can really get mesmerized in this website just because of all the neat old vintage watches that they have for sale. There's another beautiful Panda, the old Hamilton. Those are beautiful watches here. There's another Hamilton with the reverse Panda. Not the cheapest watches in the world, but hey, whatever you do, like I said, just do your due diligence. This is a beautiful Gruen right there, sold out, but very nice watch site called Cool Vintage Watches. Even has watches under $350 you can check out. Some nice old vintage pieces there. But anyway, just another site that I utilize. It's called Cool Vintage Watches. Okay, the next website that I go to on a pretty much regular basis is called WatchesToBuy, and you can get on his newsletter too as well. It's called the Insider Club. Just fill out the information and he will send you updates when they get some new things in. But they got a lot of awesome vintage watches here. We talked about this website last week. I use it as a reference. If you look at Date Your Watch link up top, That's where we found all the Breitling serial numbers, but it has the Longines, the Pateks, the Rolexes, and a few other there, as you can see. But this guy right here, Derek, he was the supplier, as we talked about last week, for the Series Madman, Series 5, 6, and 7. But he breaks his watches over in different categories. He's got his, his Omegas, his Rolexes, his Tudors. He's got them in the dives, modern, military. He's got some chronos there, even electric watches, which I really like. I love my electric watches. And pretty fair price. I would say his watches are all serviced, ready to go, and they're not overly expensive. This is a very cool watch here. Now I will say this, that his photos are not the best, meaning that you don't get a lot of big pictures. And I like to see the really, really big pictures. So for example, let's take a look at, let's just go to this one here. So you click on it, you get kind of like a collage of pictures. That's it. He does have a very good reputation. I wouldn't be hesitant to buy a watch from the guy. I hate to say this, but I'd probably buy a watch from him, even if I didn't see the movement or anything like that. He's a pretty stand-up guy. He's got a great reputation in the community. But that's one of probably the drawbacks with his website. It's not the best website as far as getting the big pictures, the really nice details, but just another cool resource to go to. Like I said, if you want to have some information about dating your watch, and finding a lot of cool vintage watches as well. He does have some beautiful Rolex vintage watches too, as you can see. He's got the Pepsi dial right there, the GMT. It's Derek's pick. But anyway, just a very, another pretty cool website to go to if you want to check out some vintage watches. It's called WatchesToBuy, and I will leave links in the comments for all the different websites that we talked about today. But this is WatchesToBuy. Okay, so the next site we're going to take a look at is called Wanna Buy a Watch. Now that's a very cool name. Kind of like watch to wear. Want to buy a watch. But they have a new location, 8441 Moros. Well, must be in California. But anyway, I utilize this site. I actually purchased a watch from the website. He's got some beautiful, beautiful vintage watches. He's got some nice, it's pretty easy to use website. Click on vintage watches under $1,000. And as you can see, he's got some very nice big thumbnail pictures for his watches. Very nice bowl of hair. It's a lady's watch, but very cool. And I would say that his photos are not the best, but pretty good reputation. Like I say, every time I want to buy a watch, I will always do your due diligence, check out the reviews. But he's not the cheapest guy in the world, but he does have some very cool watches, as you can see. It's a beautiful looking JLC there. Nice Rolex sub, some Breitlings, Pateks, Omegas right there. Nice Tudor right there. Now that's an awesome looking Heuer. I've never seen something like that. But it's really fun just to look at these watches, even though you don't buy them, just to see all the beautiful styles out there and how retro and, for lack of better words, just very cool. Where's that watch? Where's that name again? Cool. But anyway, a great little website just to check out some awesome vintage watches. This one is called Wanna Buy a Watch. Okay guys, the next site that I go to is called Time. That's Right, R-I-G-H-T, Time. Now they do have some new watches too, as well, as you can see. They carry some of the, a lot of new watches, some of the mall brands like the Citizens, Gucci's, they got Hamilton, they got, well, Graham's a pretty neat looking watch if you like that style, but they got a lot of new watches too. Some certified watches, as they call certified pre-owned. But they also do have some very nice vintage watches. He's got a great selection of vintage Omega watches, as you can see. So if you like some nice vintage Omegas like me, he's definitely got some beautiful, beautiful watches out there. Maybe not the best website in the world as far as moving around and finding what you need with the big photos, but it's passable. Very nice descriptions of the watches they'll give you. I have emailed him a couple times on some watches that I was interested in, and they will send you the case open with the case back if they don't have a picture, but they typically do, as you can see. But if you're interested in one of these nice, beautiful Omega Seamasters or any of the Omega watches, like I said, utilize the Omega forum and utilize the Omega Vintage Watch database that we spoke about last week. That could be probably one of the best resources that you can use. You know, you cross-reference between what you're looking for and what's actually made, and you can basically learn for yourself to see if these watches are Frankens or if they're pretty much, you know, if the seller's being forthright with you. But anyway, another nice website. They actually do a lot of watch repairs there too if you wanted to. You could send your watch in for repair. Pretty decent company. Like I said, very responsive when you email them. They do have some nice Oris watches too, so if you want to get a little bit, maybe not vintage, but they have some nice watches. They get a good range of watches, as you can see from their website. It's pretty easy to use. Even on the side there, it's pretty much real time. You gotta even have some doxes there too. But anyway, this website is called Right Time. Okay, the next site that I go to, and I'm sure you guys probably heard of it, they have a really big presence on YouTube. It's called Theo Harris. They have some very, very nice, lovely vintage watches. Let's go to their watch shop there. See, ooh, boy, look at that watch there. Ooh, here's another Omega Cosmic. I love those watches. But take a look at them. So you got the big pictures, and I love how you can just zoom in there and move it so you can check out the lugs. Look at that. That's the kind of that's what you need when you want to buy a watch. You want to look at in great detail. I love how they give you a wrist shot too as well. I think that makes a lot of sense. Great details. They call it the nuts and bolts. Gives you the case size, which pretty much everybody does. Lug to lug, which is very good. Lug width, which is pretty good too. You want that too. But the lug to lug, a lot of websites don't do that. I think that's a really big selling point. The watches are serviced. They give you the T&H guarantee. But they have some beautiful watches here. As you can see, this watch here I really like, and I've seen these watches, this brand called the Vantage. Seen them on the various live watch auctions. There's one in England that we're going to talk about here in the next couple weeks. But boy, when you zoom it in like that, you can just see how sharp these lugs are. Very nice, man. Wow, it's a beautiful looking watch. If you like a Breitling copy, this one's the watch for you. But let's see if it gives you some stuff here. No case back. I would definitely ask for a case back if you were interested in it. Beautiful watch, maybe a little bit rich in price. I saw it and I actually put a bid on one. I didn't get it. I had a bid. I think it sold for about $800. And but it's amazing when you go to these different watch sites like Theo and Harris, those watch guys. I see a lot of the watches that I check out on the online live auctions, the ones overseas in England, and they seem to just appear on some of these websites. But anyway, Theo and Harris is a very nice website to check out. They do a fabulous job on YouTube, but they have some great looking watches, and just make sure and check out their watches. Okay, the next site we're going to check out is called Keep the Time. Just another site that I frequent on a regular basis. He has some very nice watches. I love their vintage watches. And he's got some really cool pocket watches if you guys are into pocket watches. I'm pretty much not. I think if you have a pocket watch, you got a phone, right? This watch here I have my eye on. I will tell you this right now. I love this watch. I love this Gerard Perregaux. It's just absolutely beautiful. I just love it. I love that vintage square dial. I've been looking for one. I just don't want to pull the trigger at $1,200. It's pretty steep, but boy, look at that, how beautiful that watch is. Just that dial, oh my gosh, it's to die for, right? Love those hands, love the markers. I just love this watch. I think it's just class all the way. Nice pictures. Zoom in pretty nicely there. That's a really nice picture there, very detailed. Well, you can even see the patina on the second hand right there, the sub-second. That's very cool. Nice shot of the case back. Nice details. Doesn't have lug to lug. Would like to see that there. But very, very beautiful watch. Sorry, I digress. Keep the Time. Go back. They can actually sell. You can sell watches. You can buy them. They got a lot of neat watches. Nice videos too, if you want to. Check out their videos. They got all kinds of watches, as you can see. Some newer stuff, all the way to vintage watches, but a real fun website. Check them out. It's called Keep the Time. Okay, the next website that I go to, I'm going to take a flyer on this one, and I'm pretty sure you guys may have not heard of this website, but it's called Vintage Watches of Napoli. It's in Italy, but very nice. Guy's got some, not a lot of watches. A lot of them are sold out, but he's got some cool retro watches. I just love some of these old TV style Heuer Silverstone type watches. Look how beautiful this watch is. I love this watch here. Now it's sold out, but I just wanted to give you an idea of it. He's got nice pictures. He does give you a lot of case back. And I would say that his descriptions are maybe not the best. New old stock. This chronograph automatic, caliber 1040, stainless steel 40 by 42, excluding crown, leather strap. Well, I don't know, maybe what else do you need? I just like to have a little bit more detail, but that's me. But he does give you pretty decent detail. But like I said, this guy, he doesn't carry a lot of watches, but he's got some very interesting watches here. Beautiful Breitling chronomat. There's a Zenith. That's a lovely looking watch right there. What a beautiful dress watch, huh? Would have liked to see a little bit bigger. Now with a Mac you should be able to zoom in myself, but that looks nice. What a beautiful watch. So his descriptions aren't the best. Pricing is not too bad. It's not terrible for a nice vintage watch. Last time I checked, He does service his watches, so you can get a nice service watch. So here is a Omega Seamaster Memomatic, new old stock. This was part of my watches that I did for alarm watches. I love this watch. It's a beautiful watch. Would like to see a case back or a case open, see the movement, but very nice watches. Doesn't have a ton of them, but check it out. It's a pretty cool website. Vintage Watches of Napoli. Okay, the next website that we're going to check out is called Darlor Watch. The guy that runs the business, his name is Daryl. I actually talked to him over the phone. You can call the guy up. He's pretty engaging. Now I will say this. I've searched his name, and I always do pretty thorough search of the watch dealer that I'm potentially looking at buying a watch from. And Daryl had some mixed reviews. I do believe it was on the Rolex forum where a couple guys had some bad experiences with him. Although I saw some other people that had some very, very lovely experiences with him. And so maybe you can make a call for yourself. But he's got some really nice vintage watches. And I will tell you this, that his website is not the best, as you can see. It definitely needs to be updated. But he's got them broken down into categories. And he does give you nice pictures. So you can take a look at, like, for example, this Omega right here. It's the Constellation pipe hand dial. Now I have the ability to zoom it in with my Mac, but most people probably wouldn't. But like I said, his website is not the best. But he does give you some nice information about the website. And when I called him up, actually, I was interested in a Bulova tank watch from the 50s. And we started talking, and he's like, look, I don't know if you're going to like the size. He actually took a picture of the watch, and he put it next to a quarter so I can get an idea how big it was. And I was ready to buy the watch, and he emailed me back. He actually, I take that back, he actually called me back. He's like, look, Dale, I apologize. As we were talking, my girl just sold the watch. I said, okay, let me go take a look at your site, and maybe if I see something else that piques my interest, I'll give you a holler. But anyway, I had no problem with Daryl. There's his name right there. But he's got some very cool vintage watches. As you can see, some beautiful looking Omegas. He also has some Rolexes as well. If you want to just search by price range, I kind of like that. So if you want to buy $200 to $375 watches, you can just browse it right there. He's got a lot of these nice old tank watches that I bought. I will say this, I think prices aren't bad at all. That's a very nice Veneris that I actually like that watch. It's a pretty watch. But sold. But anyway, it's a nice little bowl of here. That's a beauty. Nice Art Deco type design. I love that shape. But anyway, this guy's got a lot of nice watches. You can take your time. Fairly priced. He's a watch dealer, so he's got to make money too. You can't begrudge people. But like I said, probably not the best website in the world, but it's not bad. He's got some nice vintage pieces. That's a nice piece. Check that out. Look at that lovely patina. Wow. Very nice. Zoom in there. It's a nice looking watch, but yeah, anyway, he's got some nice watches here. He's got ladies' watches. Pick one up for your wife or whatever. I don't mean that. He's got watches $600 and over, but I like how he's got things set up. If he had a better website, maybe it'd be a little bit better. But anyway, check these guys out. I think you're gonna really like their watches. Okay guys, the last website we're gonna show you today that I go to, it's called Localtime. He's actually in Cyprus, and the guy's name is Andreas. He's a very nice guy. I emailed him a couple different times. I was interested in a watch that he had. He had it for quite a few. He had it actually for a long time. So, but he gets top dollar. He actually sells on eBay. That's how I found out about him. And a lot of times, what I'll do is I'll go to eBay if I see a watch that I like or whatever. It could be a car, for example. I actually bought a boat off eBay. Believe it or not, probably one of the worst mistakes I ever did. Not the boat itself, but buying a boat. You know that old saying, the happiest day in your life is when you buy the boat. The second happiest is when you sell it. I'm still waiting to sell it, but I digress. But anyway, a lot of times what I'll do is I'll go to eBay, and if I see a watch dealer, I'll search him on the internet, go to Google, search it. And if the guy's got his own website, chances are you could probably save yourself a couple bucks buying directly off his website as opposed to buying off eBay. eBay's going to charge the guy 10% to sell the watch, and depending on how you do the transaction, if you use PayPal, the guy's going to get hit with another 3.5%, 4%. So a lot of times, if you find a guy who has his own website, just go on there and buy it. You can really save yourself some money. And why not email the guy, like I said, and try to get a better deal? You never know. But he's got some beautiful watches. He's got them broken down into sections. His website's a decent website. Check out some chronographs right here. And these watches are all serviced. I mean, here's a beautiful Breitling 810 top time. I hate to see what he wants for it, but let's take a look. Oh, 5800 Venus 178. Now that's a beauty. Wow. Unfortunately, you can't get big photos, but like I said, with my Mac, I can zoom in. That's a nice watch, but he really goes through the watch and thoroughly cleans the watch. They call it their spa, S-P-A. That's what he calls it. But he's got some really detailed pictures of the watch. Don't necessarily like the website. Personally, when I get on a website, I like to scroll down to see the big pictures, see pictures. I just think it's easier, especially with the different mouses and trackpads, or quite frankly on a phone. But he gives you some very nice detailed pictures. Nice sign movement there. Like I said, just get that serial number. Go check it out. But anyway, I don't want to get too hung up on this Breitling, although it's just absolutely lovely. Got them broken down into categories: complications, divers and sports, dress watches, military. He does have some types of, he does have accessories too as well. So, picks up some nice watch straps. But he also, like I said, he has a fair amount of nice vintage watches. And they are all serviced, cleaned, pretty pristine watches. Guy's got a heck of a reputation for selling it. Just go to his eBay store. You can check it out for yourself. But he's got some very interesting, beautiful watches. He does a fabulous job. But anyway, check that out. That's called Localtime. And like I said, I will leave all the links down below in the comments. So that's it for today's video. I appreciate you guys watching it. Let me know what you think. If you like the video, give me a thumbs up. Make sure to check us out and follow us on Instagram and Facebook. And in closing, make sure that you will always have a watch to wear.